Domestic stocks closed in the red yesterday, led by losses in the mining sector stocks. Well, the rand also weakening against the US dollar. This is due to a stronger dollar and domestic troubles weighing on our currency here. Well, for an indication of how these and other business stories are developing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, let's speak now to Makwe Masilela, Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers. And Dr. Masilela, thanks for your time. Your quick overview of how the local currency is faring this morning and what factors are affecting trade at the JSE.
So far, we managed to open up nicely, managed to recoup all the losses that we've seen yesterday, and all because I think markets are starting to read good economic news as they are. Unlike before we used to get worried that good economic news basically support further interest rate hikes, but as it is now, we expect more of a soft landing, that is steady growth, low unemployment, falling inflation, and rising interest rates. And when it comes to the rand itself, the rand has managed to regain some of the losses, as we've seen the US dollar retreat from the 6-month high that we've seen the previous 2 days.
Well, let's focus the conversation on the currency, the rand. What is the likelihood of the rand dipping further?
Firstly, we need to know that the reason we've seen the rand being that weak, we had some U.S. Fed officials emphasizing the fact that they need to increase interest rates much higher because they had very good job numbers in the U.S. and also they've seen the inflation being stubbornly high, even though it was going down a little bit. And now, given the issue that the rand itself is a commodity currency, we've also seen commodity prices weakening, and that itself continued to put pressure on the rand itself. Also, we had two rating agencies warning us before the budget speech next week that we should be worried about load shedding that is going to impact our economy. So those are the things that have been denting the rand as it is. And now today we see that commodity prices are doing much better. We see the dollar itself, as we said earlier, starting to retreat a little bit. Hence we see that even though we are still above the 18, but we are still doing better than yesterday. But going forward, it's going to depend on what we have to hear come the budget speech next week. I think that's the main catalyst when it comes to the currency it is, because other things have already been factored in. Load shedding, stuff like that are already in the asset price.
Yeah. Let's talk company news. South 32 posting its financial results for the half year, which ended on the 31st of December 2022. How's their performance?
Not that good, and because of commodity prices which have been falling, all because of inflation, all because of this cost that the guys could not control. And yes, we've seen that they managed to increase their production by 12%, but it was mainly because of the investment that was made in copper and also in that low carbon aluminum. And coal continues to be the biggest contributor when it comes to their profits. And I guess it was expected given the energy crunch that we've seen now lately that has resulted from that Russian-Ukraine war, and their revenue has been down 8%, ordinary dividends down 44%, as well as profits as headline earnings per share down 44%. But the guys decided to reward their long-term shareholders as they managed to increase their share buyback by a whopping $50 million.
Let's conclude with Vodafone, which is said to be mulling over selling off its Vodacom stake, or at least merging it with other operators. Talk us through those developments.
I think merging would be the best thing for them to do. The guys that increased their stake 3 days back or so from 60 to 65% of Vodacom Group. We know that they've consolidated all their African operations under Vodacom, so we don't see them selling. We know that the Vodacom Group itself is contributing significantly when it comes to their revenue. I mean, you look at the market value of Vodacom Group in US terms, they're sitting at almost 14.4 billion US dollars, and the group itself as Vodafone is almost 32 billion US dollars. So we don't think selling is the best option. But anyway, one of their largest shareholders is the one who's been intending to consolidate Vodacom Group assets in Africa with one of their operations back home here. Maybe that's the guy who will continue to give them some pressure to say maybe you need to look into selling. But I don't think it will be a wise move for Vodafone itself.
we're going to have to continue to watch the space there. Makwe Masilela, thank you very much for that markets update, Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers.